Good, everyone, read that again. To
Give important information about the noun in the sentence.
yeah, see, this is broad, right? Important information. What is important information? So we're just going to have to learn through use and try to see how we kind of describe, right, the noun in some way. And what's the words that we need to use, right, with defining relative clauses for people, right? What's the words that we use for people? Who or that? Yeah, it's right there, right? So defining relative clauses for people, we use who or that, right? What about objects? We use what? That or which. And then finally, places, we use what? Where, right? So that's just a quick bullet point and explanation of what we use defining relative clauses for and the key words to look for. Where do we find who, that, which, or where? Where do we find it? In the beginning of the sentence? In the middle? Or at the end? Where do you think we would find it? In the beginning, middle, or end? 1, 2, or 3? In the first, we would find where? I mean, in the whole sentence. In the middle, right? And then, what does that tell us? If we see where, that's the beginning of what? Where the places or the defining? Yeah, the beginning of the important information, right? So it's not just where, it's everything that follows where, that or which. Okay, good. So we learned that we have an example for people, right? The people, right, for example, my sister is the player that scored the winning goal. So what is player in our sentence?
Noun.
Yeah, is the noun before that, right? That's the noun we're using before that. And then what comes after that? Scored, right? Yes? And that is what? The verb after that, right? So when we break down our example, for example, right, we get the form, right? The green just tells us our subject, right? What's our subject? What's our subject mean? What's the subject? The subject in any sentence mean? No, it's an example would be who, what, where, when, right? A noun. But the subject is what the sentence is about, right? So it's a noun, yes, but our subject is what the sentence is about, right? And then it's usually followed by a verb, right? So remember, you might not always have the subject from the beginning. That's why you need to learn to identify it, right? And then you usually is followed by what? The subject. Verb, right? And then we have the noun. Now we're using this noun to find the clause, right? That or who. Right? And then we learn that for the most part, we'll find a verb here, right? There's occasions where you might find a noun, and it's okay. But for the most part, and for this class, we're learning to use the verb after that or who. Okay? All right. If you wanted to think about it, right, to use a noun, my sister is the player that people think will win the championship. Okay? So it can work. But for right now, most of the time, almost all the time, we're looking at the verb. All right, so now we went to the objects. What's our example for objects? Read our example. Scientists. Let's see. Good. So again, we're using our example to identify or make the form, right? We're trying to find the form, understand the form. So lens is singular, right? In here. So lens is the what? The noun, right? Before that. Like the noun before that or who, right? And then allow is our verb, right? After that. So we still have the same form, except we could use what? What's the other word we could use instead of who? Which. And that's because what's our noun? It's a what? Object, right? So remember, an object is basically a thing, right? Not a place. All right. So now we have finally our defining relative clause, right? So what happens to our defining relative clause for places? Let's read here. What's our example show us? Yeah, this is the building where the scientists work. So, yeah, building is our noun before where, right? Now we have where. But can we have a verb after where, yes or no?
Yes.
No, we can't have a verb after where. We must have a noun here. What's an easy way to unscramble first? I showed you what comes first, what comes second, what comes last, right? What comes in the beginning of a sentence, what comes in the middle of a sentence, or what comes last in a sentence, right? So if you have to unscramble, what would we want to put in the middle of the sentence? That, right? When you look at all the words, we have that. This is one way to think about it, right? I'm showing you like another way to think about it. So you know your subject comes here, right? Then you need a verb, and then you need another what? Noun, right? And then we see that it's that here, right? So we're gonna have what after that? A verb, right? So we have to look at the words here, right? What do you think we're going to be describing, basically? Right? Look at your nouns. What's your nouns? Minaret, structures, and towers, right? So what do you think you would be describing in those three? Minarets. Yeah, you would be describing minarets, right? This is a name like scientists, right? Remember when we were describing scientists and artists? So minarets, right? It's a plural. So what do you think we would want to use, right? We need to use a verb or, yeah, so we have look or are. So we're going to try to describe what they are, right? Minarets are what? Tall structures. Here we have an adjective and then structures. So I'm going to have to erase that. How do you spell structures? T-U-R-E-S, right? So then you have your that. And then what verb do you think would go here then? Yeah, look like towers. Good. All right, how about number 2 then? Very good, right? Yeah, so we want to talk about an emperor, right? So we have to just put that first. Right, that's our subject, what our sentence will be about. And since it's a singular, we use is. Is someone, right? It's talking about a person. So what goes here? Who? Who is? Yeah, good. Yeah, the ruler, spelled ruler. Spelled country. And what comes at the end? Full stop. Yeah, try to remember the full stop. Hundreds. Good. Right, we want to use, what's our verb? What's our verb here? Carry or carry? Right, carry. Yeah, spelled carry. I-E-D, right? We want the past tense because of work. Work carried building materials. Spell materials. Yes. Okay. So number 5, pack the lid. That have or has? Has. Good. Yeah. All right. Yeah, again, we just can use that, right? A lot of times, right? If you don't know, use that. That has an interlocking. Spell interlocking. Design, right? D-S-I. Here. Lighthouse? Well, what's a place that's important to you? Do you think you can tell me something about a lighthouse? Really? I was going to say, what about your house or a shopping mall or? Huh? Japan? Yeah, you could say Japan, where you want to go, somewhere you want to go, right? So you want to use Japan? Yeah, that one might be easier. I don't think lighthouse will be that easy because it's also like a thing, right? So Japan is a place, right? So Japan is a place. What comes after place? Where, right? And then where Tokyo Tower, you don't need the, and then capitalize Tokyo, capital T-O-K-Y-O. So you could say Japan, you could say Korea, you could say shopping mall, right? This is a place where anime lives, where anime is made, right? Where anime is created, where it is nature. Japan is a place where is, or yeah, so where AKB48 lives, right? Not has, right? We don't want the verb in front of it. So we want where they live.